Hi, welcome to my first recording for the Introduction to Economics course. Well, this is my very first video where I am basically telling or explaining a particular topic. So if I make any mistakes, I'm sorry for that. So again, I'm at my next to my house. You can see my surroundings. So I plan to make the recordings always here, so because I have a better access to internet uh, within my house. So today's topic is monopoly and imperfect competition, where we will basically see the potential imperfections that could be added to the perfect competition model. As I have told before, the perfect competition model is basically a model on which basically a certain conditions are defined, and within those certain conditions and according to the standards set by the model, perfect competition model was um, basically showing that free market is producing the best possible results. Well, as for today's topic, I should say that today's topic will be divided to several sections because the program I'm using is uh, just allowing me to record 15-minute long videos, but which might be also something not that bad, so that you can see different sections of the topic, today's topic, in different sections of the video. Um, so let's start to the topic. Well, as a first point, there is a video on fairness. As we have already told that the perfect competition model was basically uh, assuming a particular type of consumer, which was self-centered, which means it only cares on what he or she consumes. It doesn't he or she doesn't care on what other people are consuming. Even the relative positions of themselves are not their care. And they also were basically assuming a particular type of the model was also assuming there is a particular type of good, but also a particular type of consumer. So this video is actually interesting. It is showing not on the humans but on for the monkeys. What other people consume might be something people might be actually caring of. So actually people might care of the fairness, whether they are getting what they have right to get, instead of just caring about how much they get. They are also caring for whether or not they are treated justly. So it's an interesting video, and it may make you ask questions, but if you're interested, just watch it and you might think about what it basically says. So I'm continuing. Um, well, the main field which basically was looking for potential different type of psychological behavior of the consumer was called behavioral economics, and it's an interesting field. For example, let me just mention one of the experiments they have done. They had made an experiment on on a school in a developing country where parents were taking their children from the school, and some parents were taking their children later, which was not good behavior because their kids needs to wait at the school ground. So they decided to basically put a fine for the parents who were waiting on that school ground, and basically this was assumed to decrease number of parents that would basically take their children late, but actually it has increased the number of parents who take their children later. And why? The explanation has become the parents initially were feeling that guilt when they were taking their children late. But when basically instead you let them pay a fine, you put a price for that behavior, so they don't anymore feel guilt. So they, if they can afford the price, they basically take their children. So this kind of behavior, those kinds of instincts, complex instincts, actually makes the people's consumer behavior different, but also probably in production it has also certain effects. But this is not at the center of the economics, and there are several imperfections, and we have partially covered some in the consumer theory, the two cases. But today we will cover the main one only. But I will also mention the other potential imperfections. Producer theory. Well, profit maximizers are all producers, profit maximizers, basically, or are they maximizing something else? And that something else can be profit rate, basically. Actually, if you think about the opportunity cost, we might also think that the producers are maximizing the profit rates, because basically, but especially if they want to borrow money from other investors, the particular sectors with highest profit rate will get most resources, because if I will invest in different sectors, probably I will invest into the sector that is giving me the most profit rates, because per capital I'm investing. Because unlike the case we cover in this course, where basically there's no opportunity cost, in real life there is opportunity cost. But mainly in neoclassical economics, the production theory, it is assumed that the profit as an amount is maximized, and well, in neoclassical economics, basically the difference might be seen, not that much critical, but post-Keynesians and Marxian economists, some of them argue, and Marx, the analysis of Marx, you can see also there, maybe taking profit rate instead of profit as the maximized variable might have different consequences. Anyway, the U-shaped curve, of course, if the curve is not U-shaped, but it is actually a nicely downward going curve, in that case, no, not this way, the computer is showing the mirror image. So nicely downward going curve. In that case, well, basically we might end up with a monopolization, and you might end up with a single company dominating whole sector. And why? We will see it today. So U-shaped curve kind of protects the sectors from monopolization under certain conditions. We will see today. Besides that, there is one condition called perfect competition, and that perfect competition is perfect information. Perfect information, which has a special branch, information economics. So if there is no perfect information, what happens? Well, people might assume on certain. Well, they put their assumptions instead of the actual information they have, but they might also think about potential possibilities for different cases. And also, interestingly, there could be also possibly an information market where not all information is free. Or even if all information is free, you might choose which information to process. All of these things are part of information economics, field in economics, and that's also something which might actually change a lot of things. But unfortunately, we cannot go deep into that in this course. Well, what are the other violations? Well, free entry and exit. The companies should be able to enter to the market freely, exit from the market freely. The standard product, and the other one is no market dominance. Well, when you have a monopoly, one company is dominating the whole market, and there is no free entry, obviously. Well, maybe officially big companies might enter freely, but there can be a factor in economic system that might prevent companies to enter freely. So what that can be in case of monopolies, we will see in a minute. So there is no free entry and exit, and one company is dominating, has whole market power, not only partial market power, some market power, but the whole market power. And actually, what the monopolies can do with the market power, we won't cover fully in this course, but just if you are more interested, just look further into the monopolies, the strategies of monopolies to increase their profits, basically. But anyway, today is basically the major topic today is monopoly. So we will see the monopoly case in more detail, in a lot more detail. And then there's a case of monopolistic competition. Now, in this case, you have free entry and exit. These are different types of the fast food restaurants in the United States. You might know McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King, maybe. Pizza Hut, probably. In-N-Out, it's a popular and not that bad burger joint. Polo Loco, I haven't eaten. These are criticized hardly. This one was my favorite, actually. It's making Mexican food. And it was open up overnight. Sometimes it might sound strange, but I woke up in the United States at late night, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. I was not able to sleep. I go there and I eat tacos, and usually with hot sauce, although the hottest sauce was too hot for me. So all of these can be taken in the same market to some extent, but to some extent, because they have somewhat different type of product, they might be also taken as companies that are producing a unique good. So that's why they are in a way acting like a monopoly, but they are still competing with each other. This case is called monopolistic competition, and we will also see this case today. There is one other case called oligopoly. So for this type of markets, standardized product case is violated. You don't have standardized product. We have one more case, oligopoly, and then I will introduce the main conditions that allow monopolies exist, but the time is running out for this section. So let me talk about those things in my next section. See you in the next section.